Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Hello and welcome to Weekly Tips, where I'm putting some sense in your tip jar. Welcome today. Today we're going to be talking about layer blend modes. So these are layers that we can change into blend modes to enhance our drawings, paintings or photos in any way or form. They can be used in interesting ways to make interesting images. So basically, we start off with the general image, a sphere that I can easily paint up, or you can look up how to paint it. I've got videos on it, but you can do this with any kind of image you've got. And then what you want to do is create a new layer down here. From here you can see that you've got certain options, blend modes, that you can change these layers to. Now you might want to look them up, you might want to research some of these. I haven't kind of used all of these myself, but I do every now and again experiment with them and play around with what they do, and but there are some that work best for me, for what I do with some background work and some character work and things like that. There's some things that I really use to help me to get to a certain point in my painting quickly without having to do all the extra work with only painting on one layer, kind of a thing. So these layers include multiply, overlay, and also color. Usually what I do is I go from a black and white image, and then I from there use color layer and choose what color that I want to paint my character. He could have more intricate details in this character or form or shape. So you may have, one hue of blue here, and then the rest of his arms and legs. Just pretend it's like half, he's got to be half green, half blue, or something like that. His character's got arms, so maybe his arms are green, and he's wearing like blue outfit. This will change basically. It won't change. When you use the color layer, it won't change the tone. It will only change the hue of that tone, basically, if that makes full sense to you guys. It'll change the color, and it won't affect the shading that you've done. So it's a nice little way to quickly kind of color in a character that you've done black and white shading for or something. However, this is not word for word perfect. It does work most of the time, and it can work really well, but it's not word for word. Sometimes your whites may be too bright and things like that, so it doesn't fully work, and sometimes they don't. It doesn't change as well. So this is usually a quick way to do it. I wouldn't recommend this to be a final stage of your painting. There is, I would use another layer on top, basically, of painting. And from here, I usually use like a normal layer and just start painting on top, clicking and dropping in the colors closer to where I'm painting, and going darker and lighter. But you can also use other things like multiply. So if you use a multiply, it will basically make whatever underneath, it will multiply it by that to make it darker. It doesn't work quite well with whites though, so only multiply by blacks usually. And yeah, it darkens it, multiplies it darker. You can also use like a darken layer. You can use overlay, but that looks, but if you use darker layer, darken, it can be the same, similar kind of effect, but a little bit different. See, multiply, there's a multiply, and then darken. So you're still kind of seeing your whites and highlights showing if you use darken. So you multiply is usually the way to go for me. That's the way I use it. You can play around and see what works for you the best. And usually what I do with darken, multiply layer, is go darker than I need to, and from here I put the opacity down to a point, and if I do need to go darker again for some reason, I just create another layer on top, another either overlay or multiply, whatever I feel, and do it again. Or I would use the multiply layer and paint over top of that. It depends. Every painting's different. Depends on what works best. And the next layer is overlay. Usually for overlay, what I do for this is my lighten layer. This way I lighten things. Any objects or characters or backgrounds, that's the way I usually lighten things. And I do the same kind of process, kind of drop it down. If it needs to be lighter than that, I usually take a color and drop it down that way, and usually paint from there on, but it depends. Every process different. Yeah, feel free to comment down below if you do use layers and these layer blend modes, and how you use them. Feel free to comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. I really appreciate anyone that does, comment below and subscribe. It's really great to see that. Thanks for joining me in this video. Hopefully, you did learn something. I will be talking and probably going a bit further at some stage into these layers in some way or form. Maybe I could use it to do something with and show you that, like how I multiply things, backgrounds and things to help me. Yeah, so thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.